All right, Title 49, CFR Part 236, Subpart C, interlocking 236.301, where the signals were provided. Signals shall be provided with the governing of the train movement into through the interlocking limits, with except for the signal shall not be required with the govern the movements over the hand-operated switch for the interlocking limits for the switch to provide for the interlocking and derail clearance points, either to provide for the connected with the switch or the independently locked electrical lock installed with the under the rule of the must conform at the time and the approach with locking the requirements of Rule 314 without reference to the 220-mile exemption, those of either the Rule of 760 and Rule 768 is appropriate. Statute 236.302, the track circuit of the route locking. The track circuit of the route locking shall be provided with shall be effective with the first pair of the wheel of the locomotive of the car of the pass for the point of no more than 13 feet in advance with the signal governing its movement measured from the center of the mass if there was no mass within the center of the signal. Statute 236.303, the control circuit with the signal selection through the circuit with the controller operated with the switch points by the switching lock mechanism. Control circuit for each of the aspects indication from the more favorable than proceeded the restricted speed of the power of the operated signal governing with the movements of the switch over the switches point movable point frogs derails shall be selected through the circuit. The control circuits operated directly by switch points and the switch locking the mechanism throughout the relay with the control circuit controller for each of the switch the movable point frogs derailing the routes governed by the signal with the circuit shall be arranged so that such signal display its aspect more favorable than the preceded the restricted speed only when each switch of the movable point frog of the derailment route is proper position. Statute 236.304, mechanical locking the same protection effective with the circuit. Mechanical locking same protection with effective with the means of the circuit with it shall be provided. 236.305, approach with the time lock. Approach with the time or time locking shall be provided with the connection with the signal displaying with the aspect of an indication more favorable than the preceded respective speed. 236.306, facing of the point lock and switching locking movement. The facing of the point lock of the switch and lock movement shall be provided with a mechanically operated switch and movable point of frog and the split point derail. Statute 236.307, indication locking. Indication locking shall be provided with the operated with the approach signal of the sophomore type of the power operated with the home, the signal with the operated with the switch with the movable point frog with the derail for all the approaching signal, except for the light signals, all aspects of which with the control of the polar and the coded direct circle of the line circle so the range with the signal fault will not permit a more favorable aspect of the intended adaptive display. Statute 236.308 with the mechanical electrical locking electrical circuits requisites. The mechanical electrical locking electrical circuit shall be installed to prevent signal of the displaying aspect of its permanent conflicting movements except for the opposing signal made to discriminate with an aspect indicating the proceeded. The restricted speed at the same time on the track used with the switching movements only by one of the train at the time. The move manual interlocking the circuit of the day of the time and the part of the which the opposing signals on the same track with the permitted simultaneously to display the aspect authorized for the conflict of movements of the interlocking unattained with the continuous provided with the simultaneously training of the movement the opposite direction of the same track between the stations either side but the interlocking are not permitted. Statute 236.309, loss of the chum protection when required. Loss of the chum of 5 seconds less shall not be permitted but established a route to be changed by the automatic interlocking. Loss of chum of 5 seconds or less shall not permit the release of the route locking circuit to each of the power operated switch here and installed. 236.10, the signal governing approach with the home signal. Signal switch of the provided with the main track with the governing with the approach with the width of the current of the traffic to the home signal with the except for the home signal is the first signal encountered when leaving the yard station with the authorized speed with the approaching such signal not higher than the slow speed when authorized with the speed of the home signal in the route with the governing to 20 miles per hour or less and the operative signal displaying the aspect indicating the approach of the next signal prepared to stop may be used with the governor and the approach of the home signal. 236.11.311, signal control circuit selected through the track relay device functioning track relays and through the signal mechanism contacts time release of the automatic interlocution. The control circuit for the aspects indication more favorable than the preceded restrictions shall be selected through the track relays or through the device of the functions of the track relays for all the track circuits within the route governed. An automatic interlocking signal with the control circuit shall be selected with one through the track relay device with the function track relay for all the track circuit with the route of the governor and all conflicting routes for which interlock with the two that all from all signal mechanism for the contact relay contact flow for the signal with such conflicting routes to display with the stop of the aspect through the normal contact for the time of the relay for the time and aspect element relay of the time device such of the conflicting routes of the contacts relay reading normal positions or normal states in such time of the release of the time elements relays and time devices. Statute 236-313, movable bridge interlocking signal applying with the bridge device. When movable bridge is protected with the interlocking signal applying with the so it may be interlocked with the bridge device before the signal governing the movement over the bridge can be displayed with the aspect proceed with the bridge must be locked track line with the bridge locking the members with one of the inner inch proper position with the track on the rail the movable span with 3/8 of an inch for the correct with the surface alignment with the rail seating device of the bridge abutment with the fixed span with the emergency bypass switch over the device shall be locked and sealed. 236-313 reserved. 236-314 electrical lock hand operated switch derailment. The electrical lock shall provide with a each hand operated switch and derail with the interlocking limits if except with the train movements are made no less than 20 miles per hour. At the manual operated with the interlocking, it shall be controlled with the operating over the machine shall be unlocked only after the signals governing the movements of the switch of the derails display of the aspects indicating the stop approach at the time and locking shall be provided. Alright, rules and instructions.